Good evening and a sincere welcome to all the respected dignitaries, scientists, academicians, professors, research scholars, and dear participants. I am Leena, your host for today's session, and it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to day 6 of our 7 days national training program Agri SAARTHI PRAN 2025 on the theme of natural farming for sustainable agriculture, promotion of resilient agriculture through natural farming. As we move towards the concluding phase of this enriching program, we have already gained valuable insight over the past session from understanding the scientific base of natural farming to exploring the practical models, government policies, and innovative approaches adopted by experts and farmers across the country. Today's session promises to add yet another meaningful layer to our journey. I once again extend a heartfelt gratitude to the Society for Agricultural Advancement, Research, Training and Human Innovation for organizing this wonderful initiative, along with Paris Publication, which provide an excellent platform for publishing books and research papers. It serves a bridge between knowledge and innovation, providing opportunity for authors, researchers, and scholars with a commitment to quality, authenticity, and intellectual growth. Our publication encourages emerging voices to share their ideas with the world and transforming research into recognition. You can contact with us for the more information. I also thanks Mr. Ajay Kasana, the Chief Secretary of Sarthi and Editor-in-Chief at Paris Publication for guiding us throughout the journey of this program. Now, before proceeding to today's deliberations, it is important to reflect on the significant learning shared in yesterday's discussions, in which we had two enlightening sessions. The first by Dr. Kishore Fagodia, who shared his expert view on natural farming practices for climate resilience. He highlighted how natural farming strengthens soil health, enhances biodiversity, and builds farmers' capacity to adapt to climatic challenges. This was followed by Dr. Manisha Verma's session on water management and mulching in natural farming, where she discussed efficient water use techniques, including mulching, drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, and soil moisture conservation. Emphasizing their importance in sustainable agriculture, both the sessions were truly enriched our understanding of how natural farming can ensure resilience and sustainability in today's changing climate. Now, moving ahead, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Sunil Dutt, who is serving as a veterinary surgeon in the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Haryana. Dr. Dutt holds degree of BVSc and AH from Luvas, Hisar, and MVSc in Livestock Production and Management from ICR, National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. He has also completed postgraduate diplomas in animal welfare and human resource management. Dr. Dutt has qualified ASRB NET 2021 and 2023 and co-authored a book titled पशु चिकित्सकों द्वारा पशुपालकों का मार्गदर्शन. He has conducted significant research on biostimulatory effects and applied ethology in Murrah buffalo and continues to contribute to livestock development and indigenous breed conservation. Today, Dr. Dutt will enlighten us on a very interesting and relevant topic, cow-based farming system, Panchgavya and its application, cow dung, urine and natural inputs and conservation of indigenous breed in local condition. I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and look forward to your valuable insights on how traditional cow-based practices can contribute to sustainable and eco-friendly farming. Please, sir.
Very good evening to all. Very good evening to all the virtual dice over here. And I am Dr. Sunil Dutt, working as a veterinary surgeon in Government of Haryana. And let me share my screen for today's lecture. Again, a warm welcome to all. As you are well aware that we are discussing natural farmings, and as you have gone through this training session and training program, and you might have been well acquainted and revised with all the uh, concepts of the natural farming. Today, we would like to introduce the livestock component of the natural farming. the integration of livestock or indigenous cows in the natural farming system. So, first of all, we would be discussing why the livestock integration it is required in the natural farming, and how what are the principles and the concepts behind it to approach for it, and then it would be followed by the circadian pattern, how it works, how the animal welfare that we can ensure through the natural sustainable farming managemental systems, and we would be discussing all the natural practices, all the scientific practices which we should ensure to follow for welfare as well as for productivity in the natural farming systems while integrating the livestock in the natural farming management systems. So, as we are discussing from the past few days during our this training session that natural farming, it is a chemical free farming system. It is an old age practice which we are reviving again now. Today we are going to discuss the integration of livestock of our indigenous Jabu cows in the natural farming managemental systems. As we have discussed in our earlier training sessions of this training program regarding natural farming. So today we are going to introduce the livestock component of the natural farming system. So why it is necessary for the integration in the natural farming system, and what are the key concepts and the principles on which the natural sustainable livestock farming practices that can be followed under the natural farming systems. And then we would be discussing the criterias of the circadian behaviors which we need to ensure for welfare of the natural practices during our livestock farming, and all of the circadian behaviors and a complete synchronized manner way of the life cycle of a cow under the natural farming managemental practices. So as you are well aware that natural farming, that is a chemical free farming, and that involves the local Jabu breeds which have been evolved over these local climatic conditions, integrating it with the natural farming methods to ensure the diversified and a sustainable functional biodiversity. And among that, when we talk of natural livestock farming, that is a agroecological approach, and that is for the animal husbandry and to ensure animal welfare, sustainability of the livestock farming, and with minimizing the synthetic inputs using the local and byproducts of the our natural farming practices. So why we are integrating livestock in the natural farming system? It is because, as we are well aware, that livestock that contributes nearly 30% to the agriculture and allied sector GDP, as well as the percent total share in the GV of our country, that is 5.5% by the livestock sector. And we know that world's 20% of the livestock population that is possessed by India, and with 193 million population of the livestock of cattle, and which is reflected in the total milk production also. India surpassed USA in total milk production in way back in 1999, and from that day we are heading the world. We are leading the world in total milk production, but apathy is that we are not contributing it as a export at the world level. We are not a world market player. Why it is so? Because of various constraints, among which are some are antibiotic residues, our quality of the milk, our somatic cell count of the milk, and other various factors which contribute as a lacuna to our side. For that, we need to practice natural farming systems, which are mainly emphasized now in Europe also. And among that, our Jabu breeds or our indigenous local breeds, they contribute nearly 22% of the milk, uh, comprising of the 55% of the total cattle milk production in India. So for this very reason, we need to focus on our livestock component also, as we discussed that it is a major key contributing player in the GDP of agriculture sector as well as the total GDP of our country. So the integration which needs to focus is that not only for milk or for drought, but as we have earlier discussed in our earlier classes that various products such as Jivamrit, Bij Jivamrit, which we need to prepare for soil health point of view for our natural farming practices, that is also being contributed by the livestock component only. And we can further enhance it with vermicomposting, biogas, or panchgavya, and many other products which we can prepare from the byproducts of our livestock component. So, principally, natural livestock farming, what it needs to fulfill all the terms and criteria which are in co-sync with our natural farming practices, that it should be chemical free. We should avoid the use of antibiotics, especially excess of the antibiotics which are abundantly practiced in the field conditions, and the use of hormones which are being nowadays used in the livestock sector. And we need to focus on on-farm resource recycling by preparing various preparations from using cow dung, cow urine, such as Jivamrit or Bijivamrit, so that it can be used in that very ecosystem to enhance our soil health and other productivity of our farm, and which would eventually be promoting the functional biodiversity of our micro ecosystem, our soil health, and that would be strengthening our ecosystem. And for that, we need to focus on animal welfare. We need that is the central key aspect when we are focusing on natural, sustainable livestock farming as a component, integral component of natural farming system. We need to ensure that positive animal welfare is ensured so that animal can exhibit, animal can express its normal behavior, its natural behavior. And for that, uh, one other key aspect is that we need to focus on our indigenous breeds, on our Jabu breeds. And as we discussed in our earlier slide, that we are having a rich genetic biodiversity of our breeds with current 53 breeds of cattle in our country. So we are having a quite rich biodiversity, and that too supplemented with quite largest population in the world with 193 million cattle, comprising of 20%, roughly 20% of the world population, world cattle population. So we need to focus that on, because that local indigenous Jabu breeds, they have been evolved in this very environment, with co-sync with this very environment over the generations, over the period of time. So they are well adapted to these environmental conditions, and they are less susceptible for diseases, and they are quite susceptible for the environmental variations, changes, weather conditions, and to the local feeding conditions also. So, why natural farming practice is being promoted, as it boosts up your bottom one health approach, as the United Nations that is also focusing on one health approach as some of the major key future threats, they are in line to wait for the human civilization. One of them is antimicrobial resistance, antibiotic the use of antibiotics uh, abundantly, especially in livestock sector, and that is in human or health industry also. Okay, so natural livestock farming, that would be promoting one health approach, especially it would not only be ensuring a healthy livestock component, as it would be reducing the disease incidences. As I discussed that our Jabu breeds, they are quite resistant to diseases. So eventually your farm mortality rate, that would be reduced, and productivity would be improved. And that would be contributing to positive animal welfare. And second component, that is human health component, that would also be ensured if we are practicing natural farming, natural livestock farming. And not only it would be providing better income to the farmers, but it would also be ensuring better food quality, food security, which would be having lesser or lower antibiotic resistance that we need to focus on. And third is the environmental component of R1 health, and that would also be ensured if we are practicing natural livestock farming, as not only it would be improving soil health, as we would be using cow dung or cow urine to for Jivamrit, beet Jivamrit formation, but that would also be improving an overall biodiversity of our ecosystem. So now, as we are focusing that for sustainable natural livestock farming, we need to focus on animal welfare. So, what is that animal welfare? Uh, that means how the animal that is coping in that microenvironmental conditions in which it is living. For that, the thumb rule is that animal that would be considered in a good state of welfare when it would be healthy, when it will be well nourished, and it would feel safe in that microenvironmental conditions, and above all it would be able to express all its natural innate behaviors, and of course it would not be suffering from any unpleasant injury or a disease. So then we would be considering that animals, they are in a good state of welfare. Okay, as OI has defined the animal welfare, that physical and mental state of an animal in relation to the conditions, in relation to the environmental conditions in which animal is being reared, in which animal is being managed. Okay, so that we need to ensure. For that, uh, what are the what are the principles, what are the four principles which we need to focus while considering animal welfare? Of course, they are good feeding, good housing, good health, and above all, the fourth one is appropriate behavior, which we were discussing, that animal that should be able to express all its natural innate behaviors. Then we would be considering that animal is in good positive state of welfare, and it is having a good human animal relationship, that it is not having any escape zone. Okay, so among that appropriate behavior, that animal that should be able to express social behavior, and that animal should be having least flight zone, that is better good human animal relationship. Other beings are the good feeding, good housing, good health, as we discussed earlier. So natural innate behaviors, mainly they are maternal behavior, they are ingestive behavior, they are social behavior, resting behavior, sexual behavior, or reproductive behavior. We would be discussing them in our following further slides, the practical applied version of them. For discussing those animal welfare behaviors, first we should know the pattern of the cricardian behaviors of the animal. Earlier, we were relied on the data as a research scholar. We were relied on the data of Holstein Friesian cows, which was usually generated from the European temperate countries, and we used that data to correlate or to conclude and to evaluate our behaviors of our indigenous Jabu breeds, but that was not a good factor of to consider, as uh, especially those are distinct breeds. Those are not correlated with our Jabu breeds. Moreover, those breeds, Holstein Friesian, that is being reared, that is being kept in those temperate climatic conditions. So that data was of no quite relevance to use unless and until we are not having other standard reference for us. So uh, this is the data which was a part of my PhD research, and now it has been presented as a standard reference for our tropical climatic conditions, especially for our Jabu breeds in this It has been generated for over 2 years, studying whole of a lactating Murrah buffalo herd at NDRI Karnal. Uh, you can very well appreciate that the circadian behaviors of an animal, if we observe for around the year, so nearly 28% of the total 24 hours of the daytime, the animal or Jabu breeds, they spend on feeding. That is nearly 6.72 hours, 11% of the time in day feeding and 17% of the time as a night feeding practice. Similarly, as far as rumination is concerned, 30% of the total time budget, total 24 hours of the time, that is being devoted to the rumination by our Jabu breeds, and that is nearly 7.2 hours. And as far as drinking is concerned, nearly 24 minutes of the day throughout the year that is being spent for drinking purpose. Similarly, loafing, nearly 1.5 hour that is being spent on loafing, and uh, nearly 13 hours an animal that spends on standing. Why we need that? First of all, it is now we are having a standard for tropical climatic conditions. Second, we are having this reference standard data for our Jabu breeds, for our indigenous breeds to study. Third, we need to focus that because as far as our conventional livestock practices are concerned, they are mainly focused on labor management, and we are focusing mainly on our factory farming system. We are slowly deviating from our natural sustainable farming managemental practices. So we are feeding in daytime, as you can very well appreciate that night feeding that plays an important role in circadian behavior. So we need to focus, we need to change our managemental practices of our livestock, especially natural farming practices, so that their natural behaviors we are able to comply with. If we focus uh, month wise, so it you can very well appreciate that feeding frequency as well as feeding time, feeding time, that is quite reduced during our summer months, and during those summer months, feeding during the night, that is significantly increased. So we need to focus on managemental practices in such a way that we ensure animal welfare by providing ideally fodder during the night hours also, as major of the feeding hours that are contributed during the night time. Similarly, drinking time or drinking frequency that also fluctuates, as I discussed that nearly roughly 24 minutes whole throughout the year that is being contributed for drinking time, and that too fluctuates with our local climatic conditions, weather conditions, which vary month to month. And coming to the rumination, so rumination frequency as well as rumination time, that also varies, and that significantly reduced during our summer months, as the dry matter intake that increases during these months, and that is quite enhanced during our August to October months. And of course, lying rumination that is quite prominent as compared to standing rumination time. Similarly, total standing time that is quite low during uh, that is quite low during our winter months as compared to our total lying time, which is quite low during our summer months. So we need to practice our we need to focus the managemental practices in such a way that we fulfill their natural behaviors. We comply with their natural behavior so that the animal that is in good state of welfare, that naturally maintains its circadian pattern. So coming to our natural livestock management, as we know that since from very birth, then the stage comes of a heiferhood, then the puberty, eventually sexual maturity and reproduction, and after parturition, the dam calf bonding. We would be focusing chronologically throughout the cycle so that we would be completing a life cycle of a cow at a farm. So first coming to our calf management, so that is our colostrum feeding. That is quite important as we are well aware that after the birth, colostrum that is of prime importance for the calf. For the reason that the immunoglobulins for passive immunity that would be provided to the calf, and the main key emphasis is that we need to focus the timing of feeding of colostrum. That should be as early as possible, as soon as possible. But dilemma is that, especially in field conditions, what farmers mainly practice that once the animal that would be delivering, that would be expelling its placenta, only after that they would be focusing on colostrum feeding. That is not a good practice to follow. Because as soon as we would be providing the colostrum to the calf, not only the antibodies that would be absorbed passively 100% to the bloodstream of the calf, but that would also trigger oxytocin in the animal, oxytocin in the mother cow. Okay, so that oxytocin that would be triggering the uterine contractions, and that would be helping in quick expulsion of placenta rather than waiting first for placenta and then feeding colostrum to the calf. So these are the uh, three cues of the colostrum management which we need to focus on. One is the quality. Colostrum quality that depends upon the vaccination schedule of the mother cow during the pregnancy stage. Uh, uh, what usually farmers practice that when the cow that is in a advanced stage of pregnancy, they avoid vaccination or any sort of therapeutic management so as to not to have any undue or undue consequences. But we need to focus that if we would be vaccinating a pregnant a pregnant mother cow, so more the antibodies that would be formed in his body, in her body, and that would be eventually transferred through colostrum. So the quality of colostrum that depends upon the vaccination schedule of the dam or the mother cow. Then comes the quality. Earlier it was the common scientific practice that we need to focus 10 to 12% of the body weight, we need to feed 10 to 12% of the body weight of the calf. But nowadays, what the science is saying and what the natural managemental practices they are required that we need to feed ad lib to the calf. Then calf would be feeding 8 to 10 times a day for the colostrum feed. Okay, and as we discussed earlier, we need to focus, we need to quickly feed for the colostrum, we need to provide colostrum to the calf because till 12 hours, 100% of the antibodies without any digestion, without any disturbance in their protein structure, they would be absorbed in the bloodstream from the gut. After that, the absorption that starts declining. So we need to focus on. So regarding that natural suckling behavior of calf, if we would be providing ad lib approach to the calf, then calf would be suckling for milk, or especially colostrum, 5 to 8 times a day, even up to 10 times a day. In Jabu calves, in our indigenous cattle calves, it has been observed nearly up to 10 times a day. And the duration of each suckling that usually varies from 10 to 15 minutes. So we need to provide round the clock colostrum approach for the calf. For first 5 days, we need to feed ad lib to the calf rather than following 10% of the body weight schedule. So Best of the practice for feeding a calf, that is natural suckling, that not only benefits calf but it also benefits the mother, and as it not only increases its milk yield but it enhances, it improves its lactation length also. So second is your pail feeding or bottle feeding. So now comes your dam calf bonding. So the pathway, as a scientific pathway of dam calf bonding, it all relies on the oxytocin receptors, development of oxytocin receptors, and they start developing in advanced pregnancy. So, and oxytocin receptors, they are triggered by oxytocin and supported by the level of plasma prolactin hormone, and by the olfactory, auditory, tactile, virtual sensory cues which are provided to the mother after delivery, after parturition, or after calving. So when the mother licks her calf, and when a low pitch vocalization or it accepts the calf to suckle at udder, so they all develop the uh, lifetime bond between the mother and a calf. So that is quite essential, as it not only improves the immunity of the calf but it also enhances production performance of the dam in that very lactation. So in a study, it has been found that when some calves, they are weaned and they are not provided any mother contact and they are fed artificially through bottle feeding. And in another group, when they are only provided restricted mother contact in morning and evening during let down time. And the third group is treatment group is that when 24 hours fence line contact is being provided, so that mother can lick, mother can have sensory cue, mother can have vocal cue with her calf. So it has been found that averaged daily body weight gain, that has been found significantly higher in those calves which have been provided throughout the 24 hours fence line mother contact as compared to restricted and weaned calves. Na? Even those suckled calves in buffaloes as well as in Sahiwal, so colostrum intake, daily colostrum intake, that was found to be higher in suckled calves as compared to weaned calves, both in cases of buffaloes as well as in Sahiwal. Uh, Similarly, as we talk of daily body weight gain, more the colostrum or milk feeding of the calves, that would eventually be contributing to daily body weight gain, and that was also found to be higher in suckled calves, which are provided suckling as compared to weaned calves. Uh, if the calves are weaned, they would be, it has been observed through experiments that they would be found to be more engaged in abnormal behaviors such as cross suckling or self licking or licking inanimate objects, walls or floor around their premises, as compared to suckled calves. If calves they are being provided suckling, then the incidences or the time contributed to these abnormal behaviors, that is significantly reduced. Similarly, on the dam side, on the mother side, as I discussed, that if the mothers they are not weaned and the calves they are led to suckle, so the total lactation length, it has been found to significantly on a higher side as compared to calf weaned mothers, calf weaned cows, as well as this study it has been reflected in Murrah buffaloes also. If we are not able to practice ad lib cholesterol feeding, and regarding that, and we are practicing only twice a day colostrum feeding as a conventional practice, which is usually practiced in field conditions. If we would be providing thrice a day colostrum feeding at 8 hours each interval, so it has been found that colostrum intake that significantly increases as compared to twice a day colostrum feeding. So at least if we are not able to practice round the clock ad lib approach for colostrum feeding, at least we should practice thrice a day colostrum feeding practice. Then coming to social behavior of the animals, as we have discussed that we should be rearing the animals so that they are able to express their natural behaviors, and they would be able to express their natural innate behaviors only when they would be kept in they would be managed in loose housing system. When animals they are kept in loose housing system, they are quite social, they are quite gregarious, and they like to live in groups. And when they are kept in loose housing system, so they are less fearful, they will feed more, they will have better digestion, and they will be more productive, they will be more happy, they will be more contented, and that would be reflected in their production and productivity. So coming to the social behavior of calves, the study shows that when Sahiwal calves they were kept individually, and or a group which was kept in a group housing system for social interactions, and a third treatment group that was when they were just kept as a paired calves. Okay, what it showed that uh, the calves which were provided social interactions by keeping them in as a group treatment or in pairs, they were found to be having higher body weight gain as compared to calves which were kept individually, which were not provided any social grouping or social exposure. Similarly, frequency of abnormal behavior that was found to be high among the calves which were kept individually as compared to our treatment groups of paired uh, paired calves as well as group house calves. Uh, Now coming to the feeding behavior, as we know that animals, especially cows, they like to graze from the ground position, but as over the period of time we have been practicing a elevated manger managemental feeding systems. When the animal they graze from the ground position, nearly 17% of the saliva that is produced more and that is being ingested, and that saliva that acts as pH for the ruminal fermentation, and which increases the digestion, digestibility, and eventually absorption among the ruminants, and that would be contributing to a higher production as well as productivity of the animals. So we should ensure such managemental practices so that the natural grazing behavior or the natural feeding behavior of that cow that is being complied. So as we know that one of the system is fence line feeding system, which would allow the animal to access the feed from the ground level so that the natural grazing position that is being met, so that more saliva would be produced, that would be balancing the pH of the ruminal fermentation, and that would be contributing to better digestibility. And moreover, through that fence line practice, so animal that would not be defecating or walking through the feed, and it would not be trampling the feed. Other feeding systems, one is elevated manger, which is usually commonly practiced in field conditions, that we are having a manger at a height of usually 2 to 2.5 feet height, and we are feeding the animals in that manger. But that would not comply the natural feeding behavior of that animal. And another is the feeding through post and rail fence line barrier. That is a modified fence line barrier feeding practice. A study conducted at NDRI with current freeze crossbred cows that showed that the uh, cows which were kept for feeding through post and rail fence line partition. So dry matter intake that is also significant, that also significantly increases, as well as that contributes to the daily milk yield, as well as the agonistic interactions, they significantly reduced among when animals, the cows, the crossbred cows, current freeze cows, they were kept in the treatment group of post and rail fence line partition as compared to elevated manger or conventional practice of feeding system. So that not only increases dry matter, but it also reflects in their daily milk yield, in their production. So among the housing system, as we discussed, that loose housing system that ensures their expression of social behavior when animals they are kept loose for most of the time of day, as except during milking. And one is the tie barn or conventional housing system, which is usually practiced in field conditions, as animals they are kept tied at a platform throughout the day, and all the managemental operations they are carried at that very site. So benefits of loose housing system, as you know, that animal has its own comfort to rest around for its movements, for its comfortable movements. Animal would be in good health condition. The incidences of other injuries or the orthopedic injuries or joint injuries, those incidences they would be reduced, as most of the cases for MPDs, for medial patellar desmotomies, they are only observed due to our conventional tie barn system, and they would be requiring, of course, lesser veterinary interventions, as they would be more healthy, and they would be expressing their all the natural behaviors, especially when we talk of sexual behaviors or reproductive behaviors. So animals, those are kept in conventional or tie barn system, they are not able to express their behavior of mounting or licking or sniffing, as they are being kept tied. If they are in loose housing system, they would be able to freely express all those behaviors, social behaviors and reproductive behaviors. So this experiment, it shows that when the treatment group that was provided a modified shed with increased elevated height of the shed, so that a good ventilation could occur, so that microenvironmental conditions they are THI and other parameters they are uh, quite good as compared to conventional lower height shed. Second, sand bedding, as we would be providing the sand bedding as compared to concrete bedding. So that is considered as a gold standard for animal, for their welfare point of view. So when this modified housing that was compared with a conventional lower or traditional practices of housing management, so when it was compared for the performance of current freeze crossbred cows at NDRI, so it was found that lying time that significantly increases in the modified shed, in the shed which in which we are providing sand bedding. Of course, that's why sand bedding that is a gold standard for the cows to provide for their positive welfare. Okay, so they would be resting more. They would be spending more of their time budget on the resting behavior. And the more the time they are spending on resting behavior, more rumination time and more the rumination time. So eventually, better would be their digestibility, and that would eventually be resulting in more milk yield. So, as far as reproductive behaviors are concerned, that was also found to be on a higher side in modified shed. The cows which were kept on in modified shed, the days of first postpartum estrus that was significantly reduced. They came in heat earlier, and the service period that was also reduced. That means their reproductive efficiency that increased if we are giving good microenvironmental conditions to the animal. If housing conditions they are provided, better housing conditions they are provided to the animal, so they would be reproductively as well as productively, they would be performing efficiently. Then comes to our heiferhood. Uh, as we know that puberty that is a factor of body weight rather than age, age that doesn't play any role in achieving puberty and eventually further sexual maturity. That is the body weight of the animal that has a role to play. That is the factor of puberty, because as the animal that would be achieving body weight, that means proportional growth of internal organs, of reproductive organs and all other organs, they are also proportionately well developed. So the body weight gain that is much essential if we need to achieve earlier age at first calving. So we need to, so uh, this graph, it shows that as early the body weight is achieved, we would be achieving early puberty. If we are achieving early puberty, then of course eventual sexual maturity or age at first calving, that would be achieved earlier. Age at first calving, that depends upon various factors. Various factors, they influence it. Of course, one is genetics. One is the genetic potential of that animal. It depends upon breed to breed. And then comes the health factors. If the animal is quite healthy, if it is living in good, positive welfare state, it would be eventually healthy. So that would be contributing to more average daily body weight gain, and animal would be achieving quite early the age at first calving. Then comes the managemental factors, environmental factors, and of course, nutrition. So, this was the this was my PG research, which was conducted at NDRI Karnal. As we are well aware that biostimulation, that has been known for achieving early estrus, early puberty, but the study for the mechanism how it works, that was studied on Murrah heifers in at NDRI, and it shows that one was a control group to heifers which no bull contact, no bull exposure was provided. Another was a fence line treatment group to which only bull could have fence line exposure to the heifers. And the third treatment group was a direct contact group in which bull that was uh, allowed to allowed to move in the paddock, in the heifer paddock, for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening after applying the bull apron, and the direct contact that was provided to the heifers. Through through this biostimulation, it was found that feeding duration, feeding time, and dry matter intake, eventually that was found to be significantly high in the groups, in the treatment groups in which biostimulation was provided, and the highest was in the direct biostimulatory group, treatment group, as compared to the control heifers to whom no bull exposure was provided. So feeding time, that was significantly improved, and that eventually increases the dry matter intake, which was reflected in their daily body weight gain. The treatment group animals, or the buffalo heifers which were biostimulated, which were given biostimulation direct or fence line, so they were having significantly higher body weight gain, and they achieved early puberty and of course early sexual maturity. So this slide, it shows how the body weight gain that is significantly higher in the direct contact and fence line bull exposure group of heifers, and their dry matter intake, of course their feed conversion ratio and their feed conversion efficiency, that was also higher from that side. So what is that biostimulation? It is quite of paramount importance if we are talking of natural livestock farming. So biostimulation, that is basically exposing the female to a male, and stimulatory effects of that male on that female cyclic activity through genital stimulation, through pheromones, or through other external cues of vocal cues or visual cues or contact cues, that is known as biostimulation. How it works? It works through pheromones. They are volatile chemical compounds which are being released from the secretions and excretions of the animals, especially during when it is in heat. So, and that is being perceived through vomeronasal organ, which is present in respiratory tract. Okay, through that vomeronasal organ, that an animal that sniffs, that intakes those pheromones through flamen response, and that acts on uh, hypothalamus pituitary axis, and of course eventually that stimulates the ovarian cyclicity through GnRH and follicle stimulating hormone. So the study conducted at NDRI regarding the biostimulation, and it was observed that when it was conducted at Sahiwal heifers, and the treatment group was similarly, it was provided direct bull exposure for direct bull biostimulation, and another treatment group in which only fence line bull exposure was provided, and the control Sahiwal heifers in which no bull exposure was provided. So it was found that the biostimulatory groups or treatment groups of our Sahiwal heifers, they achieved early puberty by the virtue of achieving early body weight gain. And of course, the conception rate that was also high on a higher side if bull is being kept. When we talk of natural farming system, we need to keep bull as well along with the female indigenous cows. So that plays a paramount role through this biostimulation. That would be ensuring the better efficacy, efficiency, reproductive efficiency of your farm cows. Similarly, the cardinal signs of stress behavior of peripubertal or Sahiwal cows, heifers, of sniffing or licking or micturition, that was found to be on a significantly higher side. They expressed their stress behavior significantly when they were exposed to bull. So, bull biostimulation that not only plays a role in stimulating the ovarian cyclicity, but expression of the stress behaviors also. And similarly, postpartum Sahiwal heifers, when they were exposed to the bull biostimulation, so similar effects of positive, significant increased reproductive efficiency, they were found in those experiments also. And days to first stress, that, those were found to be significantly reduced in the bull biostimulatory groups of Sahiwal heifers. And similarly, other frequency of our stress behaviors, they were also significantly higher in the treatment groups, in the biostimulatory groups, in bull biostimulatory groups. Chin resting or mount attempts as the stress behaviors, they were found to be on a significantly higher side in the treatment groups. So concluding our topic, uh, that natural calf suckling or mother rearing, that improves the performance of the calves, of the health of the calves, as we discussed in our slides, that experiments, they have proved that average daily body weight gain, that significantly improves if we are not weaning the calves, if we are letting them suckle, and they improve their body weight. They are the frequency of abnormal behaviors that significantly reduces in those calves which are provided suckling management. And more, if they are fed thrice a day rather than the twice a day milk feeding practice as a conventional practice, so that also significantly improves their growth, improves their health, and of course then contributes to the welfare of the calves. And that also is reflected on the mother side also. So dam or the mother cow, so lactation length or the milk yield of the suckled mothers, that is significantly improved. Similarly, as compared fence line feeding, as compared to our conventional elevated feeding practice, so that improves the feeding intake, which is contributed to the improved milk performance and to the welfare of the animal. And similarly, social housing, If we are providing loose housing system to the calves, if they are kept in loose social houses, so they would be better able to express their social behaviors, their innate natural behaviors. So social housing, and as we discussed in an experiment also, if in a modified housing, when they were providing with better micro-environmental conditions of housing, if they are providing sand bedding, if they are providing higher elevated sheds for better ventilation, so better micro-environmental conditions to better manage THI and micro-environmental temperature. So that improves their resting behavior, that improves their dry matter intake, that improves their rumination behavior, and eventually that reflects in their meat production performance. And last the least, the biostimulation, bull biostimulation, the role which a bull plays at your farm, especially in the natural livestock farming managemental practices. So sexual behavior that is expressed better, that is clearly expressed when bull biostimulation is there. And not only that, body weight gain of the heifers that significantly improves through bull biostimulation, and they would be achieving early puberty, early sexual maturity, and early age at first calving. And after that, even postpartum sahiwal or cows, they are expressing early days to first estrus, and their reproductive efficiency that improves through biostimulation. So we should integrate natural cattle behaviors into our natural livestock farming managemental protocols, so that animal performance and welfare that gets ensured, and eventually it would be contributing to farmers welfare also. So thank you from my side. Any questions?
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request participants if they have any query with them for today's session, they are requested to raise their hand, and then we can unmute them and they can introduce themselves and then ask the query. You can also ask your question in the chat section so we can ask here. Please raise your hand. Yes. Mr.
Yes.
Suryanarayan Parida, you can ask your question, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Suryanarayan Parida, CEO of Gandhi Farmer Producers Company Limited from Odisha. I have
Very
one question that if we are using goat instead of cow, is it will be beneficial to natural farming or not?
uh, our objectives of natural farming we would be achieving only when we would be rearing cows in that. Of course, when we are introducing goats in that, then that would be a part of a integrated farming system. Of course, if we are following uh, natural managemental practices, for them there is a different set of packages, but you would not be able to have uh, cow urine or cow dung for preparation of jivamrit and beef jivamrit and all other aspects of that, है ना, for verming composting. If we would be practicing goats also. Of course, you can rear goats, you can have goats, and with our native goat breeds. That would be a holistic approach of your integrated farming system rather than your natural farming system. Na?
Okay. In contrast to these questions, I have another questions that if I am using 1 ton of gobar cow dung, it will be equal to how much goat compost? 1 ton cow dung will be equal to how much goat compost?
Uh, the composition of goat, if we discuss the difference between goat dung, goat pellets, and goat dung pellets and cow dung, na? So
Yeah.
that is quite different because the bulk of cow dung that is more as compared to your goats, that is having more dry matter, especially if we are talking of our uh, cow, है ना? So we would not be efficiently able to prepare all the probiotic decoctions which we discussed for our soil health in the earlier lectures, especially Jivamrit, Bijivamrit, which need your cow dung for those preparations. Because goat pellets, they are not having that much of content, especially even if we talk of microbes, the microbial composition of cow dung, that is quite different from goats, है ना? So that
Okay.
also differs. So we would not be able to achieve that of our objectives with our goat dung pellets, na? This is
Besides these questions, I am comparing 1 ton of cow dung compost and I am with equivalent of goat compost. Then NPK valuations or any other micro fertilizers equals, or is there any diversions?
On the very first site, I will not be able to have some authentic research data if anyone have compared these two regarding the substitute of a goat dung pellet as compared to cow dung. But uh, being we need to have at least more the amount of goat dung pellets due to that dry matter quantity, है ना? So that the bulk, that the dry matter quantity which the cow dung has, as you are saying that if we are using 1 ton of the cow dung, so we need to have more the quantity of the your goat dung pellets, है ना? But
Sir, we have 1 ton of goat manure and we have also 1 ton of cow dung compost. So the comparison is that in which compost the micronutrients and macronutrients will be available, whether in cow dung or in goat compost. If we have equal amount of compost.
As far as micronutrients are concerned, since both are the ruminants and moreover, goat is having it usually grows in the open natural grounds and it browses outside as compared to our tie barn conventional cow systems. So quality wise, both are nearly the same.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, Dr. Rajesh Latha, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing such a detailed deliberation over the concept. Actually, this is not a query, sir. We seek some discussion over the topic that why this natural farming is confined only to the indigenous cows. Because other indigenous animals like buffaloes, and as my friend from I don't know from which state he was, he raised the question that goat is also having a lot of microbes in his dung or urine. Likewise, our indigenous buffaloes have a diverse microorganisms in dung and urine. So why we are not using other indigenous cattles, only cows? Why only cows, sir? And one more question I have, sir.
Yes.
Within breed, there is a variation between the microorganisms in dung and urine. Suppose, Dr. Saab, suppose in a family there are 5 members. Those 5 members have different gut healths. Their number of microorganisms or beneficial bacteria or whatever it is, there is a variation between the members of a family. I think you got my point. कि एक ही परिवार के अगर 5 सदस्य हैं तो उनका जो गट हेल्थ है वो वेरी कर सकता है. तो इसी तरह से जो काउस है मतलब इंडिजिनस काउस के अंदर भी जो गट हेल्थ है वो वेरी कर सकता है, सर. और मैंने काफी सारे रिसर्च पेपर पढ़े हैं, सर, कि जो इंडिजिनस बफेलो है, that has more diverse microorganisms in its urine and dung. So why this indigenous cow in natural farming? Why indigenous? It's a great thing that we are promoting indigenous breeds. We are in favor of that. But why only cow is confined? This is a natural farming is a big process actually. तो हमें सर हमें सिर्फ देसी काऊ तक ही सीमित नहीं रहना चाहिए। अगर किसी के पास भैंस है, बफेलो है, और जैसे मैंने बताया कि काफी सारे रिसर्च पेपर मैंने पढ़ा है सर, कि इंडिजिनस बफेलो के अंदर देर इज ए डाइवर्स माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स इन यूरिन एंड बफेलो, इन यूरिन एंड डंग, सॉरी। तो ये तो अच्छी बात है कि हमें इंडिजिनस ब्रीड को प्रमोट करना है, बट अकेले गाय को ही इसमें क्यों रखते हैं सर? एंड आई थिंक यू आर द राइट पर्सन टू टू डिस्कस दिस थिंग। तो काइंडली एक्सप्लेन दिस थिंग सर। तो व्हाई
Yes.
ओनली द देसी काउ सर, प्लीज सर।
Yes, a very good question you have highlighted. As usually, whenever I take lectures regarding this natural farming, it has been asked to me many times by farmers locally when this topic is being raised. You know? So it has many aspects. Let us discuss. One, it is very clear that we need to focus on our indigenous germplasm, whether it is buffalo or whether it is cow, as compared to our exotic or crossbred cows. Okay, so it should be clear, है ना? Why so? Because our indigenous germplasm, the breeds which have evolved over centuries, over the generations in the particular geographical tract, so they have been evolved not only morphometrically, not only phenotypically, not only their outer appearance, but they have distinct uh, their physiological traits and qualities. Okay, so we need to focus on that as compared to our crossbred or exotic germplasm, because some of the owners they usually say, okay, Dr. Saab, you are saying to have a cow in this natural farming, why not to have a crossbred or exotic HF cross, so that more the milk production would be there. It is because at physiological level, if you would be talking of ruminal microbiology, that is quite different. Let us ignore all that A to milk and everything, so ruminal microphysiology, that is also different if we talk of exotic or crossbreds as compared to our indigenous. Second, they are well adapted to our indigenous conditions, whether it is our buffalo breeds or our cattle breeds. Okay, so they are less susceptible to diseases. They can well thrive when we are having lean period of forage, है ना? And in extreme and weather conditions of our summer stress and winter stress. Now coming to your concern and query, why not buffaloes? Why we are only focusing on Jabu cattles? One, one aspect, as you touched, that it is of course a moral duty to preserve the uh, unique germplasm of our Jabu cattle breeds, है ना, local breeds. Second, it is also the moral duty to preserve the buffalo breeds also, है ना? That is also a unique germplasm. So why we are focusing only on cattle, or of course ruminant microflora, that is quite diverse. If we talk of buffalo, uh, uh, it also varies breed to breed, and it also varies from region to region. As you touched that घर में सभी की gut health सभी की अलग अलग हो सकती है. If you talk of latest innovations and inventions in our human health industry also, that is the research going on gut microflora. दी यंग वन, जब डे को हम छोटे बच्चे को जब हम शहद चटाते हैं, व्हाट दैट मीन्स, वी आर ट्रांसफरिंग आर गट माइक्रोफ्लोरा टू दैट नेव गट सिस्टम। ओके, तो घर में ऑलमोस्ट सभी का जो गट माइक्रोफ्लोरा होता है वो नियरली सेम होगा। तभी आप कभी बीमार नहीं पड़ते इफ द फीमेल आर किचन कीपर ऑफ द फैमिली, इफ इट इज हैविंग एनी हेल्थ इश्यू और गट इश्यू, तो सभी को ट्रांसफर नहीं होता, बिकॉज सभी का कॉमन होता है वो, है ना, एक फैमिली का कॉमन होगा, एक लीनियज का भी कॉमन होता है। एंड दैट टू रिफ्लेक्ट्स इन योर एस्पेक्ट्स। सो आपका जिसके साथ बिहेवियर मैच करता है, टर्म्स मैच करती हैं, जिसके साथ आपकी वाइब्स मैच करती हैं, दैट इज ड्यू टू समवट कंट्रीब्यूटेड बाय कॉमन माइक्रोफ्लोरा। Okay, even the scientists what now they are focusing on, whatever we are thinking, जो हमारी सोच है, जो हमारे पुराने बुजुर्ग जब ये बोलते थे, जैसा खाओगे अन्न वैसा होगा मन, that was not just a proverb or a slang, that has a scientific meaning. What sorry, I am derailing from the our topic, just to explain you in depth so that you can connect with it. The microflora in our gut health. Okay, so those species they adapt themselves and they develop some particular taste, and then you say that I need that particular kind of food. I am मैं एक्स वाई जेड मटर पनीर मुझे ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है. It is not liked by you. It is liked by the microflora, and those microflora certain chemicals which are being absorbed through the gut, and they are putting a signaling message through your brain, and then you're saying that you need to arrange that very food again. Okay, then you get that craving, and that craving that is more for non-veg food. If those who usually eat chicken, they have more craving for chicken rather than paneer eaters, na? So that is all the basis of gut microflora. Similarly, the smokers who usually smoke cigarettes, those are the microbes which release certain chemicals and which through the bloodstream then they signal you to arrange another cigarette, okay, so that you can manage another smoke session. So this is the thing. Now coming back to our topic, that why we are focusing on cattle or a cow breed rather than our local breeds of buffalo. Of course, we can focus on buffaloes, but if you talk at a microbial level, at a microbial physiological level, for example, the unique properties which the cow dung or the unique properties which your cow urine has, those are not present in your buffalo urine. For example, the trace elements of gold particles which have been established in our cow urine. Due to that gold particles, the cow urine that acts as bioenhancer. What is bioenhancer? That means whatever the therapeutic medication we are taking, हम बोलते हैं कि गोमूत्र, the use of gomutra in Ayurveda, ना? Why it is so? If we talk in pharmacodynamics, that is for bioenhancer. Why? The gold particle, heavy gold particles which are present in cow urine, so they are many times, multiple times enhancing the therapeutic efficacy of your drug which you are taking for certain disease. So these are certain properties due to which they are focusing on cow breeds rather than buffalo breeds. If macroscopically or just grossly analyze, of course, we can have buffalo breeds also. We should preserve buffalo breeds also. And even in our slides, I have shown various research data of buffaloes also, na? Rather than showing exotic animals data. So yes, in natural farming, we can have buffalo breeds also, but essentially or in name sense, we need to focus on cow breeds as uh, if we focus on microscopically, if we analyze in deep, in physiological senses, in as I explained you that why cow urine that is being emphasized in Ayurveda, because those of gold particles which it is having. Sword
Okay.
bhasam जो usually people consume for early quick gaining of health, na? So
Thank you
that is.
so much, Dr. Saab. As time is the constraint, thank you so much for clearing this doubt. मैं सम अप करने के लिए बता देता हूँ आप सभी को कि हमारी जो देसी गाय है एक तो सस्ती है और हमें किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ानी है प्राकृतिक खेती करके। तो ये जो खाती है कम खाती है, एक तो सुस्त नहीं रहती, चुस्त रहती है, फुर्ती में रहती है, ठीक है। तो हमारे जो बच्चे दूध पिएंगे, एक गाय का दूध पिए, एक भैंस का दूध पिए, तो गाय का दूध उनके लिए ज्यादा लाभदायक है। उसी तरीके से हमारे जो बहुत सारे काम है कम खर्चे में चल जाए, यही हमारी प्राकृतिक खेती का एक प्रिंसिपल भी है। तो इसलिए डॉक्टर साहब की बातों को मैं सॉल्व करने के लिए ये बातें आपको बता रहा हूँ। अभी हम एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन लेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर साहब टू रेज दिस कंसर्न और टू मेक द ऑडियंस अंडरस्टैंड दिस। अभी डॉक्टर धनंजय, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड दिस विल बी द लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस सेशन, क्योंकि हमारे साथ में आज बहुत ही जो है 10 साल से जो प्राकृतिक खेती कर रहे हैं श्री फूल कुमार जी और श्री जोनी राणा जी जुड़े हुए हैं, जो किसान हैं, वो अपना अनुभव साझा करेंगे। तो एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन हम ले रहे हैं डॉक्टर धनंजय जी का। प्लीज डॉक्टर साहब अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
Good evening, sir. I want to add to
Very
this
good evening.
question, sir, because I read in one article that is the Desi cows having eye feeder during milking time, and they are having horn. This horn contains silicon. Silicon is a metalloid and it is a non-conductive of heat. Therefore, if the cow is exposed to hot sunrise, its body will always cool. Will not work properly. Therefore, they have their own microflora that contain excess digestive microflora. Hence, the cow urine, the cow dung, desi cow dung, contains several uh, beneficial microflora. Hence, in natural farming, they normally use that is milking cow dung and urine. Is it right, sir?
Yes, it has been proven as due to that time shortage, I just didn't highlighted that thing. Just as I said that why cow urine that is having certain medicinal properties. Similarly, the cow dung that is also having certain unique properties. Due to that time shortage, I didn't just emphasized. Yes, and of course it is having high possibilities that we need to explore, है ना? So yes, just as a null hypothesis, we need to explore those certain things due to which we are focusing on cow or jabu cows rather than our buffaloes or other breeds, na?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Saab. I hope it cleared Dr. Dhananjay doubt. Miss Leena, please carry forward our session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil, for your insightful and inspiring lecture on cow-based farming system and application of Panchagavya in natural farming. I sincerely thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge, time, experience with us. Your words not only enlighten our mind but also motivated us to adopt more eco-friendly and ethical livestock practice. Now, moving forward in today's session, I extend a warm welcome to Shri Joni Ranaji, a esteemed farmer from Kalayat, Kethal, who is helping other farmers and encourage them to adopt natural farming. He helps farmers by providing free seeds. As for Joni ji, natural farming is a social service. He is practicing natural farming from last 9 years on 10 acre of areas. Shri Joni Ranaji received Millionaire Farmer Award. He mainly practiced on cereals, wheat and mustard. Today, he will be sharing his view on fundamental and journal of natural farming. Please, sir.
Okay, जोनी राणा जी शायद कोई टेक्निकल इशू फेस कर रहे हैं, तो अभी हमारे साथ में फूल कुमार जी हैं, तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ प्लीज उनको इन्वाइट कीजिए, तब तक जो मेरा से ठीक करना।
Okay, sir. Now I would like to welcome another esteemed and experienced farmer, Shri Phool Kumar ji, a farmer from Mehem, Rohtak, who is practicing natural farming since 2004. He practiced natural farming on 3 acre, self-owned, and 4 acre on lease for at least for last 9 years. He cultivate wheat, sugarcane, mustard, chana, and bajra. He is inspired from Rajiv Dikshit ji. Now he is here with us for sharing his practical knowledge and experience today. Shri Phool Kumar ji will enlighten us on practice and of multi-layer farming. Sir, please.
आदर व सम्मान के योग्य सभी बंधुओं को मेरा नमस्कार। मेरा नाम फूल कुमार, तहसील महम, जिला रोहतक, हरियाणा। मैं 2009 से प्राकृतिक खेती कर रहा हूं और शुरुआती दौर में इसमें बहुत सारी कठिनाई भी आई। उनका मुख्य कारण कठिनाई का यह था कि मेरे को इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं थी, क्योंकि राजीव दीक्षित जी के कहने पे टीवी पे सुन के ही मैंने ये मतलब खेती शुरू करी थी। और कई साल तक करने के बाद ही मेरे को पता चला कि और लोग भी जो सिखाते हैं या मतलब करते हैं या बताते हैं उसके बारे में। तो मुझे ये जानकारी लेने में, इस खेती को सही से समझने में और सीखने में मतलब बहुत समय लग गया। और जब से इस खेती को मैंने सही से समझा है, सही से अपने खेत पे उसको करके देखा है, तब से मेरी समझ में आया कि इसमें जैसे उस खेती की, केमिकल खेती की एक पूरी साइंस है, इसी तरह इस खेती की भी एक अपनी पूरी साइंस है। और जब तक हम उसको पूर्णतः, वो केमिकल फार्मिंग है या मतलब प्राकृतिक खेती है या जैविक खेती है या गो आधारित खेती है, जब तक उसको सही से किसान समझ के और सही से सभी सिद्धांतों पे ठीक से काम नहीं करेगा, तब तक उसको परिणाम मिलने की उम्मीद बहुत कम है। तो मैंने करते करते ये मतलब बहुत समय सीखा, और सीखने के बाद जब मैंने काफी सारी पद्धतियों पे सीखी और वो अपने खेत पे करके देखने के बाद मेरे को पता चला सुभाष पालेकर जी की जो पद्धति है वो हर किसान कर सकता है और आसान है, सस्ती है। केवल गाय के मूत्र गोबर का प्रयोग बताते हैं, खेत से निकला हुआ आच्छादन का प्रयोग करने के बारे में बताते हैं। तो उनके मुख्य 4 ही सिद्धांत हैं, जो बीजामृत, जीवामृत, आच्छादन और जो वापसा बताते हैं। अगर किसान इन 4 सिद्धांतों पे सही से काम करे, बिल्कुल सही से काम करे, तो ये खेती बिल्कुल किसान के फायदे की है। ये मैं अपना प्रैक्टिकल अनुभव करके आप लोगों को बता रहा हूं और मैंने ये किया है। जब तक किसान इन सभी सिद्धांतों को पूर्णतः अपने खेत पे अपनाएगा नहीं, तब तक उसको परिणाम मिलेंगे नहीं। परिणाम नहीं मिलेंगे तो वो निराश हो जाए है कुछ समय बाद, फिर वो मतलब या तो धीरे धीरे छोड़ दे है, या फिर वो एक एक कारण और भी है कि वो करता भी रहा है कि इस पद्धति से बिना केमिकल के अन्न उगाने से उनको भाव थोड़ा अच्छा मिल जावा है। तो वो सिर्फ केमिकल के साथ कंपेयर करके कि मेरी भी उतने रुपए की फसल होगी और केमिकल वाले की भी उतनी होगी, तो इस तरफ वो पूरा ध्यान नहीं देता। इसी वजह से वो मतलब अपनी पैदावार तरफ ध्यान नहीं देता और वो मतलब पैसे से बराबर या उससे थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा में संतोष कर लेता है। मेरा ये मानना है कि अगर वो इस खेती को सही से समझ के और सभी सिद्धांतों पे अपने खेत में पूर्णतः काम करे, तो वो उनके पैदावार उनके बराबर तो ये नहीं कह सकते, क्योंकि वो हाई यील्ड वाली लेवल है। अगर हम मतलब देसी वैरायटी लेते हैं तो वो पूरी पैदावार जितनी देसी वैरायटी की है उतनी पैदावार लेके और से पैसे में तो काफी ज्यादा तक मतलब आमदनी गोवा से ज्यादा वो नहीं हूँ, तो वो कर सकता है। इसमें किसान ने ये चारों बातें ऐसे समझनी पड़ेंगी, भाई अपने खेत का जो भी बायोमास है वो खेत को वापस किसी भी रूप में वापस मिलना चाहिए, भला ही वो अपने गाय को खिला के उसके गोबर के रूप में आए, या वो आपकी गाय के काम का नहीं है तो वो आप सीधा वैसे खेत में उसको दो। और उसका महत्व उसको समझाना और समझना पड़ेगा किसान ने कि ये बायोमास का महत्व मेरे खेत में कितना है और ये फायदा करता है। खरपतवार की जो समस्या है वो किसान की बायोमास ही मतलब खत्म कर पाता है। और इसमें किसान किसानों ये लगाते हैं सब किसान, तो वो भी सोचता है कि मैं भी उसी उन्हीं फसलों तक सीमित रहूं। इस खेती में आप मतलब किसान जितनी अलग अलग तरह की हर बार फसल बदल के या मतलब खेत बदल के इस बार इस खेत में वो लगा दिया, अगर जब किसान देखता है ना, केवल जैसे हम फोन पर बताते हैं या सुनते हैं या मतलब कोई वीडियो वगैरह देख लेते हैं, उससे विश्वास नहीं होता। और जब किसान धरातल पे देख लेता है तो उसको ये लगता है कि हाँ ये संभव है। और जब तक धरातल पे किसान देख नहीं लेगा और अपने खेत, तो मैं यही कह रहा किसान को इसके सभी सिद्धांतों को सही से समझ के, और अगर वो सही से अपने खेत पे फॉलो करेंगे तो पैदावार लेना बड़ी बात नहीं है। और वो खेत को जैसे जैसे उसका जितना खेत सुधरता जाएगा उतनी उसकी पैदावार बढ़ दी जाएगी और उसकी समस्याएं कम होती जाएंगी धीरे धीरे। अभी जैसे कोई किसान शुरू करता है तो उसको शुरुआती दौर में काफी सारी समस्याएं आती हैं। जैसे उसका खेत भी सही से सुधरा हुआ नहीं होता है और उसको मतलब जानकारी का भी अभाव होता है, और भी बहुत तरह की समस्याएं आती हैं। वो धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे करता जाएगा उसकी समस्याएं कम होता भी जाएगा अपने खेत से। जैसे मैं थोड़ी देर पहले सुन रहा था, डॉक्टर साहब बता रहे थे कि देसी गाय बहुत जरूरी है। बहुत सारे साथी क्या करते हैं, जैसे जिसके पास भैंस है या जो भी कुछ है, मतलब जो भी पशु है उसके पास, वो उसी से सोचता है काम चलाने का। पर जो देसी गाय की तुलना है ना, वो आप दूसरी किसी गाय से या दूसरे किसी भैंस वगैरह से नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि देसी गाय का जो परिणाम है ना, वो इससे परिणाम आपको मिल ही नहीं सकते किसान को। तो हमारे को ये भी कोशिश है कि मतलब देशी गाय ही एक तुड़का भी आग लगाना की तो मतलब किसान बेचना भी नहीं है, और जितना हो सके बाहर से ले ला के बायोमास भी किसान अपने खेत में डालेगा और बायोमास के महत्व को समझेगा। और जब वो प्रैक्टिकल कर लेगा तो फिर उसको ये क्लियर ही हो जाएगा कि बायोमास कितने फायदे और कितना मतलब काम करता है। और गाय का गोबर सब केमिकल वाले साथी जो है जितनी बार यूरिया का प्रयोग करते हैं, प्राकृतिक खेती या गो आधारित खेती में भी हमने उतनी ही बार जितनी बार यूरिया का डीएपी का नहीं, मैं गंधमर्द का जो देशी गाय के गोबर बना उपयोग करेंगे तो हम ले सकते हैं, उनसे ज्यादा भी हम उत्पाद ले सकते हैं। और वो प्रयोग खरपतवार को भी नियंत्रण करना पड़ेगा, तो हमारी फसल किसी भी कोई भी फसल किसी भी उसमें मतलब कम नहीं रह सकती। ये मेरा प्रैक्टिकल अनुभव है।
जी
शुरुआती दौर में
बहुत
किसानों को सब मेरे ख्याल से सबसे जो मुख्य समस्या है वो है इस खेती को सही से समझने की और सही से ज्ञान ना मिलने की। केवल दो चार छह बात या तो यूट्यूब से देख लेता है, या मतलब ऑनलाइन देख ले, या किसी छोटा मोटे कार्यक्रम में वो थोड़ी सुन ले है, तो वो सोचा है कि मतलब मेरे को पता चल गया और मैं शुरू करूं। जब तक किसान इसकी पूरी जानकारी लेके और इसके सभी सिद्धांतों पे काम नहीं करेगा, तब तक परिणाम मतलब उसको नहीं मिलेंगे। और ये उसको पहले पूरी जानकारी जुटानी चाहिए। हम तो यही सलाह देते हैं, बल्कि अपने एक खेत के छोटे टुकड़े पे ये सभी सिद्धांतों को वो करे, और उनका जब परिणाम मिल जाए, तो फिर वो जब उसको पूर्णतः विश्वास हो जाए कि हाँ मतलब मैंने अभी अपने खेत में ये काम करके और सही से सीख लिया है, तब वो अगर अपने पूरे खेत में करेगा तो उसके लिए और भी ज्यादा फायदा हुआ।
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद फूल कुमार जी। काफी अच्छा आपने जो अपना अनुभव साझा किया है। तो अभी हम चाहते हैं कि जो बाकी हमारे साथी हैं, वैज्ञानिक हैं, किसान हैं, वो आपसे कुछ सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं। तो कोई भी साथी जो फूल कुमार जी से सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं, या तो अपना हाथ उठा लें या फिर जो है हमारे चैट सेक्शन में अपनी क्वेरीज भेज दें, ताकि फूल कुमार जी जो है आपको अपना जो अनुभव बता पाए। अच्छा, जब तक कोई पूछता है फूल कुमार जी, एक जो कॉमन सवाल सभी का है, वैसे तो आपने देसी गाय पे बता दिया है कि भाई क्या फायदे हैं भैंस के,
जी
बधाई गाय क्यों यूज करते हैं। लेकिन जो आप जो है 3 एकड़ तो आपकी खुद की है, जैसा आपने अनुभव बताया, और 4 एकड़ आप मतलब लीज पे लेकर के भी खेती कर रहे हैं। तो इसमें जो आपकी सबसे बड़ी समस्या क्या आती है? जैसे एक तो हमारे खरपतवार की समस्या होती है, और दूसरा जो
हाँ जी।
इसमें कोई बीमारी आ जाती है। तो उसका आपका क्या अनुभव है कि भाई खरपतवार को तो आप किस तरह से मैनेज करते हो, और फिर कोई बीमारी आती है तो कौन सी बीमारी आती है, और उसके लिए आप क्या करते हो? तो वो थोड़ा सा आप हमें बताइए।
देखिए, बीमारी के लिए सुभाष पालेकर जी ने हर बीमारी के लिए लिखवाया है अग्नि स्तर, 10 अर्क या ब्रह्मास्त्र या संजीवक, जो भी बताए हैं उनसे 100% कंट्रोल हो जाते हैं कि उनकी भी जरूरत ही ना पड़े, या मतलब शुरुआती दौर में उनकी थोड़ी बहुत जरूरत पड़ सकती है। कुछ दिन के बाद तो आपको उनकी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़े, मात्रा में हो जाएंगे, तो वो अपने आप ही कंट्रोल कर लेंगे। किसान को इस पे चिंता करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, सिर्फ उसको इस खेती को सीख के और अपनी पैदावार पे और मतलब जैसे ये सभी सिद्धांतों को अपनाने की जरूरत है। प्रतिशत 40 में मेरे को नहीं, हमारी किसान की कोई समस्या है। और एक अपने की खरपतवार कई फसलों में थोड़ा प्रभावित करता है, और वो खरपतवार भी मेरे को लगता है तभी ज्यादा प्रभावित करता है जब किसान की फसल कमजोर होती है, तो खरपतवार उसको दबाने की कोशिश करता है। किसान ने ये कोशिश करनी है कि मेरी फसल कभी भी कमजोर ही ना हो रहे, ताकि अगर वो सभी सिद्धांतों को अपनाएगा तो उसकी फसल कमजोर नहीं रहेगी, और कमजोर नहीं रहेगी तो खरपतवार की समस्या कम होगी। और उसको शुरुआती दौर में जैसे छोटी फसल है तो ही उसको निराई गुड़ाई करके या मतलब उसको कंट्रोल करना चाहिए, और बायोमास का ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रयोग करके अपने खेत में मल्चिंग करके भी खरपतवार को बहुत बहुत हद तक कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद फूल कुमार जी। तो एक और जो सवाल कॉमन रहता है वो ये है कि हम प्राकृतिक खेती तो करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन उसका मूल्य हमें नहीं मिल पाता है। तो आप अपने अनुभव से बताइए कि आपको जो है कितना मूल्य अपनी फसलों का मिल रहा है, और बाकी लोगों से क्या अलग मतलब इसका अनुभव है कि भाई आपके पास समय से पैसा आ जाता है, या फिर आपके फार्म से ही लोग खरीद के ले जाते हैं? इसका थोड़ा हमें परिचय करेंगे।
देखिए, ये बड़ी समस्या ना, ये गवर्नमेंट आती है, क्योंकि देखिए जब मान लो इसी साल से किसी ने शुरू किया, अब लोगों को विश्वास होने में भी मतलब थोड़ा समय लगता है। शुरुआती दौर में ये किसान को समस्या आती है, उसको ग्राहक को ये नहीं पता भाई ये पूर्ण से कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, कितने दिन से कर रहा है, इसका उत्पाद है वो बिल्कुल जहर मुक्त है या। तो शुरुआती दौर में आती है, पर जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेगा ये समस्या उसकी बिल्कुल नहीं है, क्योंकि लोगों को भी पता चल जाएगा, और वो जैसे जैसे इस्तेमाल करेंगे वो उसके प्रोडक्ट को खा के ही बता देंगे कि ये वाकई में मतलब जहर मुक्त है। तो शुरुआती दौर की है ये समस्या। किसान को धीरे धीरे सब खत्म हो जाएगी, पर शुरुआत तो उसको करनी ही पड़ेगी। जब तक लोगों को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि भाई ये इसने शुरू कर दिया है, या मतलब इसने 1 साल हो गया या 2 साल हो गए हैं। अ, ये मैं मानता हूँ कि शुरुआती दौर में आती है थोड़ी समस्या।
जी फूल कुमार जी, एक जो सबसे बड़ा सवाल, और जो वैसे आपने शायद वो बात हमें बताई भी है, लेकिन हम और जानना चाहते हैं कि आप अपने फार्म पे 3 से 4 फसलें एक छोटे से जगह में ले रहे हैं, मल्टी लेयर जैसे आप फार्मिंग कर रहे हैं, 3-4 फसलें ले रहे हैं, भाई बेले जाति की हैं या फिर जो और फसलें हैं, तो उसमें आप किस तरह से मतलब अपनी फसलें ले रहे हैं, और उसमें क्या क्या समस्या आती है और कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
देखिए, किसान लोग मतलब केवल क्षेत्रफल को पूरे 1 एकड़ में नीचे नीचे देखते हैं, तो वो केवल वही क्षेत्रफल नहीं है। कुछ पेड़ ऊपर बढ़ने वाले या कुछ फल सब्जी ऊपर बढ़ने वाले, और फिर उनके नीचे थोड़े छोटी छोटी हाइट वाले, और उसके नीचे फिर और छोटी हाइट वाले, और जमीन के अंदर बैठने वाली चीज ये लगाई जा सकते हैं। किसी को धूप कम चाहिए वो नीचे आ जाएगा, जिसको हर हर स्टेज पे खेत का ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रयोग करना है, और खेत को कहीं से भी खाली नहीं छोड़ना है। जितना हम खेत में जितनी ज्यादा फसल लगावांगे या ज्यादा से ज्यादा फसल लगावांगे, खेत में जगह को खाली नहीं छोड़ांगे, तो किसान को तो उत्पादन उतना ही मिलना है और उसी हिसाब से मिलना है। जितनी जगह खाली रह जाएगी तो वो सीधा किसान का खेत खाली रहेगा, और खेत खाली रहेगा तो फिर उसका उत्पादन पर सीधा प्रभाव पड़ेगा।
हाँ जी, तो थोड़ा सा मतलब हम ये जानना चाह रहे हैं कि आप कौन कौन सी फसलें ले रहे हैं, कि भाई कौन सी मतलब ऊंची हाइट वाली, कौन सी छोटी, उससे छोटी, कौन सी जमीन पे फैलने वाली, आप अपने फार्म पे कौन कौन सी ले रहे हो, और कौन कौन सी का जो मिश्रण है वो अच्छा रहता है, कि भाई ये किसान लगाए तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा?
आके और उसके ऊपर तार बांध के बेल वाली सभी ऊपर चढ़ा दी। जैसे उसमें 5 तरह की है, तोरी, घिया, कला और कुंदरू, परवल, ये वगैरह ये वो है। क्योंकि दे मतलब सब्जियां ले सकते हैं, और जब वो पूरी फैल जाएंगी तो नीचे छांव में हल्दी है, मिर्च है, ये छांव में ये भी उत्पादन देगी आपको।
बहुत बहुत
और ऐसे ही
धन्यवाद
है,
फूल
वो बाग में भी हमने ऐसे ही लगाया है, जैसे बड़े
जी जी बताइए।
बाग में भी पहले जो पेड़ लंबी हाइट लेते हैं, जिनको धूप ज्यादा चाहिए, वो उस स्टेज के लगा दिए, फिर उसके नीचे दूसरे छोटे छोटे पेड़ लगा दिए, उनके नीचे और छोटे, और फिर उसके अंदर हल्दी और मिर्च बाग के अंदर भी लगा सकते हैं आप, छाव में भी।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद फूल कुमार जी। एक जो है आखिरी सवाल हम आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, ये डॉक्टर अमनदीप कौर है पंजाब एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी से। तो उनका सवाल है कि जो हम ये आच्छादन करते हैं, मल्चिंग, और जो मिश्रित खेती है, और जो फसल चक्र है, इनमें से सबसे बढ़िया जो है उपाय कौन सा है, और मतलब खरपतवार को मैनेज करने के लिए? जो फसल चक्र है वो आच्छादन, मल्चिंग, और ये जो अपना क्रॉप रोटेशन है, फसल चक्र, तो
देखिए,
इनमें थोड़ा सा आप बताइए।
ये सभी चीजें जरूरी हैं, पर ये हर फसल में एक ही चीज, एक ही सिद्धांत लागू नहीं हो सकता। उसमें जैसे अ, फसल चक्कर करेंगे तो एक खरपतवार की आपको समस्या ज्यादा नहीं आएगी। और मेरा तो यहाँ तक अनुभव है, जब हम ये केमिकल करना बंद कर देते हैं तो खरपतवार की समस्या वैसे ही धीरे धीरे कम हो जाती है। जैसे गेहूं में जो समस्या हमारे यहाँ आती है, वो समस्या हमारे खेत में बिल्कुल खत्म हो गई। अभी हमारे खेत में एक पेड़ भी नहीं उगता, और पड़ोसियां का 3-3 स्प्रे करने के बाद भी मतलब उनका उनका वो खत्म नहीं होता। तो मेरा मानना है कि ये जितना दवाई का भी प्रयोग कम होगा, उतनी आपकी ये समस्या भी कम हो जाएगी।
Thank you so much, sir. If anyone has another question, please you may ask.
चलिए कोई बात नहीं, माफी चाहेंगे कि वो इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी की वजह से थोड़ा सा इश्यू आ रहा है हमको। मिस लीना प्लीज कैरी फॉरवर्ड अच्छे से।
Thank you so much, sir. Respected guests, trainers, and all the participants, on the behalf of the organizing team, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this training program a grand success. A special thanks to our esteemed speaker for sharing their valuable knowledge and practical experiences, and to all the participants for their active involvement. Your enthusiasm and dedication made this learning journey a truly enriching one. We hope the insights gained here will be applied effectively to your fields, contributing to sustainable and innovative farming practices. Thank you once again for your support and participation.
थैंक यू सो मच कनिष्क नंदिनी। तो आज आप सभी के लिए एक स्पेशल अनाउंसमेंट है। देयर इज ए स्पेशल अनाउंसमेंट फॉर यू ऑल। टुमारो His Excellency Honorable Governor of Gujarat and Maharashtra, Sri Acharya Devrat ji, will join and he will grace our valedictory session. मैं हिंदी में बता देता हूँ कि कल जो हमारे माननीय महामहिम राज्यपाल जी गुजरात और महाराष्ट्र आचार्य देवव्रत जी हमारे जो एंडिंग सेशन होगा, क्लोजिंग सेशन, उसको ज्वाइन करेंगे और वो अपना वक्तव्य रखेंगे। तो मैं आप सभी से ये रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि कल की सेशन को जरूर ज्वाइन करें। देखो, ये रिक्वेस्ट मान लो और चाहे ये हमारी किसी भी तरीके से आप जो है प्रार्थना मान लो कि कल के सेशन को आपको ज्वाइन करना ही करना है। अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो हम सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दे पाएंगे, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों की 75% से अटेंडेंस कम है और हमारी संस्था, हमारी सोसाइटी इस मामले में बिल्कुल स्ट्रिक्ट है। बेशक आपने पैसे दिए हो, चाहे बेशक आपने समय दिया हो, लेकिन अगर 75% अटेंडेंस पूरी नहीं है जो हम फीडबैक फॉर्म दे रहे हैं, तो हम किसी भी सूरत में आपको सर्टिफिकेट नहीं देंगे। अपने ज्ञान अर्जित किया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, लेकिन आपको ये चीजें भी ध्यान रखनी है, सिंसियरिटी भी रखनी है। और कल जो है आपसे यही हम रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि यू प्लीज ज्वाइन टुमारो सेशन, दैट इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट। बिकॉज जो इसके पायनियर माने जाते हैं श्री सुभाष पालेकर जी, उनके बाद में आचार्य देवव्रत जी, ये जो जिन्होंने नेचुरल फार्मिंग को बहुत आगे ले जाने का कार्य किया है और अच्छे लेवल पे लेके जा रहे हैं, तो आप जरूर जो है कल के सेशन को ज्वाइन करें। और इसी के साथ हम आज के सेशन को एंड करते हैं। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।